So just to start out, what did your personal preparations look like this week leading up to such a big game?
We knew going into it that TCU was a very scrappy team and that blocking and on defense. And so we knew that we needed to take big rips and big moments. And so that's exactly what we did tonight. And we focused on leaning in on each other in practice. And I think, extending the rallies and then learning how to terminate those balls, I think was a key focus in practice this week.
Yeah, number 11 in the country. We just really focused on being competitive and playing our best and doing everything we can on the court and just bringing everything that we possibly can.
Take me through those two middle extended sets right there, because you had those in Colorado, which ended up being quite crucial, and they're quite a high RPI team like TCU is. So take us through those moments and what it's like for you guys in that moment.
We tell each other we've been here before, and so we know what to do, and we need to play free, and we need to play confident. So we need to just look at each other, and we know that we have to go out and we have to be aggressive in order to terminate those balls. And so I think, again, like I said, leaning in on each other and playing and having that freedom allows us to win those tight sets against those high RPI teams.
How can the team work on maintaining leads? Because there were some really great moments there where y'all were up like 5-ish points, but then, obviously they're incredible and they come crawling back. How can you focus on maintaining a lead?
I think just holding each other up and keeping it positive on the court and just keep grinding, keep going, and yeah.
Coach Botsford, he emphasized creativity on the court. How do you think that impacted your game tonight?
For sure. I said before, they're a big blocking team, and so we knew that sometimes our pins were going to have triple block on us, and so leaning in on our defenders, telling us what's open, and just trusting each other. I know that we were very creative in practice, and so we have a super competitive practice, and we have a lot of depth on this team, and so that's what enables us to work on those shots in practice and have that creativity translate into the game.
Did you feel a difference in the team energy from set 1 versus set 2?
I feel like we kept the same energy we were always really up. We were always willing to do anything to win, and we were just competitive the whole time.
Yeah, the first set was 25-20, and so we knew hey, we're gonna have to fight. This is gonna be a long night, and so we know that we're just gonna have to. It's gonna be a side-out game, and so that relentless energy, I think, is what held us in those 4 sets.
What's it been like working with Alexa as she's now assumed the full-time libero position now, and how's it been like adjusting to that?
It's been great. Pretty much a seamless transition because in practice, like I said, we have a ton of depth on this team, so we've experimented and worked with multiple people on the team, and just having a calming force on the court is really awesome, especially in those high intense matches where everybody's screaming and yelling at 28-28, and so being able to turn to her, hold her hand, it's a calming force for us, and I know for me as well.
Sort of similarly, have you been feeling the absence of Skylar as she's dealing with her lingering injury as well?
It's been different, but like as Fallon said, we have such a deep bench that anyone can step in and fill that position, and we're excited to have her back whenever she's ready, but we're always going to be there to compete and do whatever we need to do.
Sure.
Coach talked about how you don't want to get into a slippery slope of we got so close but didn't win. So what's it like to be in a position like this where you stood up to a team as good as TCU or Colorado but not pulling it out, and how do you go forward with that?
I think going into these intense matches, we know that regardless of the outcome, we need to go out swinging and we need to go out aggressive. And so leaving it all on the court and not having regrets is, I think, what helps us go into practice these next upcoming weeks. And so taking away the good things out of the match and not really focusing on the negatives. And so there was a ton of positives that came out of this game and the previous games that we played the past week. And so I think carrying that into practice this week and having a good mojo is definitely a priority for this team.
What were your positives that you're going to take into your next match?
I think energy today was a big one. I think obviously we lost the first set, and so we all looked at each other. We said, hey, that's over. Let's just keep pushing on. And that relentless energy, I think, is what we focused on really that entire match.
I think tonight we had less highs and lows than we normally do. We stayed very constant. I felt like the energy always stayed up and it never really dipped.
You guys are huge competitors against these high RPI teams. Obviously, I asked the same question to Coach Matt Bosford, but do you feel like this team can hold their own against anyone?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I think we can compete with anybody in the country. And so I think having that mindset of that we're the best players on that court, I think is what keeps us going. Yeah.
You guys ended up having double the service errors TCU had there. Just what do you guys think you can do in order to try and curb those?
I think that that's just a sign of us being aggressive, which is something that we need to do to beat these higher RPI teams. So we could reel it in a little bit, but I don't think anyone is upset by the mistakes that we're making back there because we know that they're aggressive.
Yeah, and coach always instills in us there needs to be good errors, and so especially on the service line, I mean, obviously we can minimize a couple of those, but I think going back there wanting to ace someone is always our goal, and so just sticking with that, and regardless of the outcome, you can't really get mad at each other when we're going for that point.
So what do you expect to work on in practice as a team, and also like personally for yourselves leading up to West Virginia? It's kind of a short turnaround, but
I think all of these teams in the Big 12, it's a very competitive conference in the nation, and so I think everybody's neck and neck the first 18 points, but I think endgame volleyball will probably be a big focus. Past 18, I think it's whoever is going to terminate, and so I think because it's such a competitive conference, we need to focus on maybe dialing in those mistakes on the service line or just little bits and pieces on the court where I think we can tone in, perfect, but yeah.
All right, best of luck, ladies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.